thanks to the redistricting map at the state level, we have our Princeton contingent. We have a real opportunity. You guys know we came pretty close last year. It's exciting for Somerset County that people believe that a district that is made up of a very large portion of this county is actually winnable. And so, for that reason, we're as excited as we are challenged by how to make this the right selection process for the best candidate to run in that race. And you'll hear from our screening committee later, you'll hear from the candidates, and we'll move on from there. At the county freeholder level, we've got 2 seats up. We've got our screening committee is recommending a young man who's a newbie. But we're hoping to get out the youth vote, and we believe that you'll listen to him and you'll decide if your vote is going to go to endorse him. But we're excited to have Will Galtieri here. We have running with him, we hope, a seasoned politician, a guy named Franzitelli. Have you guys heard that name? And if those races aren't going to be enough fun for you, wait until you hear where we're recommending you endorse for county chair. I'm not even going to tell you because it's just too exciting. I did tell Brett Ratty, and Brett Ratty said, oh my God, I might actually have a race on my hands. In fact, his clerk wanted to know if he would hire her. She said she's going to change parties. With the National Republican agenda, which my vice chair is going to talk to us about a little bit, we know there's a war on women, there's a war on the environment, there's a war on poor people, there's a war on the middle class. We need to ramp up this fight. Our health, our children, our environment, and our reproductive freedom are all at risk. Somerset County is still one of the wealthiest counties in the country. Just not the right color on the map. We need to change that. It's now my pleasure to introduce to you a gentleman who is going to speak on behalf of the various federal candidates. We've received letters of intent from President Obama, who says he wants to run our ticket. I assume you're okay with that. We received a letter from Senator Menendez, who says he too would like to be part of this ticket. I'm guessing we're okay with that. And Sarah, Congressman Holt doesn't want to run our ticket? He didn't send a letter yet. Zenon is, unfortunately, and oftentimes more familiar with the Capitol Hill than he is with Somerset County. So I've asked him actually just to bring you the state of the federal government and talk to you about the candidates we are going to endorse for the federal positions and open up the convention for nominating those federal level representatives. Zenon.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you very much, Mayor. It's always a great pleasure to see you and other mayors. Mayor Shane, where are you? Always a pleasure to see you all. Thank you so very much. We gather here to perform one of the most solemn obligations in any democracy. We come here to talk about the issues, to screen our candidates, to vet their ideas, and to embolden them to represent us. It's not a task to be taken lightly. It's a very difficult thing that we all do, and I applaud all of you for so diligently thinking about the future for our children and our grandchildren. And in many ways, because America has a unique place in the world, this is actually a decision we make for the entire planet. So much of what we do affects the rest of the world. And although all politics are local, let's talk just for a little bit about the federal level. We have a few people that are going to be on our ticket, and you've probably heard of all of them. Congressman Rush Holt, who will get that letter signed. He will be on our ticket, and we will vote for him and send him back to Congress. Senator Bob Menendez, who has been an incredible stalwart for so many of our issues for the last 20 years. And of course, President Barack Obama. And as Peg said, I think you've heard of him. And we've seen what he's done in a short time. And we're all encouraged by what he's going to do in another 4 years. I've been very fortunate, in addition to getting to know all of you, which is truly the greatest pleasure. I've had the opportunity to get to know many of these other officials from Capitol Hill, as Peg mentioned. And Rush Holt I've known for such a long time, and he's very much down deep the way you see him on the surface. He's brilliant, he's thoughtful, he's concerned, he cares, and he votes his conscience. These are attributes we all talk about, we all admire, but he lives it every single day. I think a big round of applause, even though he's not here, for Rush Holt. For his coming victory, and for all he's going to do for us. I've also, for the last 20 or so years, I've had the pleasure of knowing Bob Menendez. I've known him as a congressman. He's been very instrumental in many of the issues which are near and dear to me and my family, the issue of a divided Cyprus, an ecumenical patriarch that doesn't have the religious freedoms which we take for granted here in America, but he doesn't get those freedoms in Turkey, and so many other issues that are near and dear to all of us. But Bob Menendez, every single time there's an issue about human rights, about women's rights, about religious freedoms, he is there first and foremost. He does his homework, he is diligent, he is one of the most sincere, honest, and hard-working legislators any of us will ever meet. He doesn't take much of a break, he works constantly, he works on our behalf, and he takes his job very, very seriously. Many of us have run for local offices. I don't know why in the world anyone would do that. It's beyond me. God bless you all for doing it. But Rush Holt and Bob Menendez do election after election. They put themselves out there. You know how tough it can be emotionally, how physically demanding it is. And he does it. So he deserves our support. I'm looking forward to a strong vote for Rush Holt and Bob Menendez coming out of Somerset County. I know we can do it. I know we'll deliver for them, and they'll continue to deliver for us. And finally, we have a gentleman who has reshaped the world in so many ways. Barack Obama burst onto the scenes in 2004 with an amazing, stirring convention speech in Boston. I had the opportunity to meet him a few times. As a matter of fact, backstage that night, it was a complete coincidence. It was absolutely dumb luck. A friend of mine was handling security and by mistake let me in. It happens, it's who you know. He impressed me then. He's continued to impress all of us in years since. And just a few days ago, Joe Biden was in our state. Now, Vice President Biden I've gotten to know actually pretty well. I've had dinner with him a number of times, and for all the things that people say about him talking, it's true. A 2-hour meal typically turns into about 6 hours. But it's fascinating because he knows just about everything about just about everything. And he doesn't forget his roots from Scranton, Pennsylvania. He knows his family values. He understands what it's like to face personal tragedy and loss. He never forgets those essential values when he decides and when he legislates. And he told an interesting story, which I think you'll find fascinating, just on Monday night in New Jersey, about President Obama. He had a great campaign slogan Vice President Biden came up with. He said, for a bumper sticker, he said, "Democrats, we killed bin Laden and saved GM." I think that says it all. But he told us about how the president decided to actually go after bin Laden and make the final push. And he said that they had all the Joint Chiefs of Staff, 17 of them, and they went over the pros and cons, so we have them identified not far from a military base, go figure, in Pakistan. And the decision was to go or not to go. So they evaluated all the essential facts, and they went around the room one by one. And everyone said, well, it's really risky. 49%, 51%, it's pretty close. Went around the room and last was Joe Biden. And Joe said, guys, that's not what the president needs. He needs to hear a go or don't go. What Vice President Biden said was that of the 17, all but one said don't go. And that decision rested on the president's shoulders. And all except one of his advisors said, don't do it, it's too risky. There's only a 40% chance that he'll be there. That night, after everyone left, he and Joe Biden spoke. And the next morning after delivery, you can imagine what kind of an evening he This is the leadership we need. He decided that night, and he had to get on Marine One and take a helicopter out somewhere for another meeting. And the last thing he said before he left the White House was, go. But we all know how that turned out. That takes bold leadership. That takes the kind of leadership that we have in our current president. There are more decisions that he's going to make in the next 4 years that we won't even know about, but that's the kind of leadership we need. That's the kind of leadership he delivers to us. So in the next 6 months, we're going to hear a lot of things. We're going to hear a lot of stories on either side. There's going to be super PAC money flowing like you've never seen money flowing. It's going to totally distort the system, but don't let it distort this. Don't let it distort our recollection of history. Don't let it distort our knowledge of what leadership really is and who we want making your decisions. I know who I want. I think you know who you want. And this whole process, this wonderful effort we're starting tonight, is certainly about nominating and electing our leaders. But ultimately, it's about governing. It's not about just putting someone in office. It's about putting the right person in office. It's about making sure that they can govern and make the decisions that we need them to make because the world is not getting easier. And all the things that we spoke about for so many years, I remember personal conversations with probably each and every one of you. And for how long have we spoken about the problems with the environment? And nobody listens until it's too late. And now there are estimates that 250 million people worldwide are going to be environmentally displaced because the environment is changing so rapidly. And when we talk about energy policy that needs to be revamped, who are the people listening? Who was making the decisions on that one? And now we're buying oil from enemy states. And when we were talking about education and how important it is for our kids to maintain world-class skills, and now we're ranked 16th. That's unacceptable. So much of this is unacceptable. And our economy, which we've been talking about as we saw the Gini index, the coefficient of inequality between rich and poor, and we know those things that have been taking place for the last 40 years. We're saying this isn't right, the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. And we look at this and we say, that's not going to last. And now look what's happening. We can't sit idly by again. Whether it's a local level, a statewide level election, or a federal election. We have to make our voices heard, continue to make our passions known. And if we do that, we will make a better future for our kids. And as we are beneficiaries of a past we never knew, we are the guarantors of a future we'll never see. That's our obligation, to do what's right for everyone. Not a special interest, not a party, not a poll or a pal, but for America. And I know that we can start it right here in Somerset County to break one-party rule and show them what true efforts from the grassroots can do. Thank you all very much.
And this is like Councilman Auletta standing up. Shouldn't we get this guy run for Congress? What do you think?